She lost her job defending a blind stranger, not knowing he was the CEO who owned the company. The blind man had just reached the hotel door when his cane struck the frame. His foot slipped, and he fell hard on the wet ground. His cane slid out of reach. For 1 second, he stayed there, breathing hard, his palm pressed against the cold floor, while people at the entrance stopped to stare. Then the security guards came over. But instead of helping him, one of them laughed. "Hey," he said, looking down at him, "where do you think you're going?" The man, still on the ground, spoke quietly, "I need to see the manager." That made them laugh even more. "The manager," the second guard said, "a man like you." A few guests near the door slowed down to watch. Staff at the front desk turned their heads. No one stepped forward. No one bent down. No one even asked if he was hurt. Then the manager came out. He looked at the blind man on the floor, looked at the guards, and instead of stopping it, he joined in. "What is going on here?" he snapped. One guard smirked. "Sir, he says he wants to see the manager." The manager stared at the man on the ground and gave a cold little laugh. "You," he said, "you want to see the manager." The blind man swallowed and tried to push himself up. "Please, just tell him Adrian is here." But that only made things worse. By now, more people had gathered. Some whispered, some smiled, some openly mocked him. And the manager, annoyed that this was happening in front of wealthy guests, lost patience. "Throw him out," he told the guards. That was the moment Sofia saw everything from the back of the lobby. The foe, the mocking, the crowd, the manager standing there while a blind man was being humiliated on the ground. She should have stayed at her station. She should have kept quiet. She should have done what everyone else was doing. But she couldn't. She left her work, ran across the lobby, and dropped to her knees beside him. "Sir," she said softly, "please don't worry, I'm here." The whole entrance went silent, because the one person who was supposed to stay out of it had just stepped into it. And that was the part that angered the manager most. Not that the man had fallen, not that the guards had mocked him, but that one waitress had dared to leave her work, challenge his order, and act like being a good person mattered more than obeying him. He looked at her with pure rage. And before this night was over, Sofia would pay for that choice with the only job standing between her family and hunger. So stay with this story, because what happened next did not just change her life. It exposed everyone in that hotel. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Sofia was 26 and already carrying a life that would have broken a lot of people. She worked as a waitress at the Grand Palace Hotel. The pay was low, the hours were long, the smiles were forced. Every day she served people richer than she could imagine while counting every coin in her own purse before going home. Home was a tiny apartment she shared with her younger brother, Daniel. Every month was the same fear. Rent, food, electric bill, Daniel's school fees. One mistake could sink all of it. Still, Sofia had not become bitter. Tired, yes, worried always, but not hard. She noticed when the cleaners were exhausted. She noticed when old guests looked lonely. She noticed when someone was being treated badly while everyone else pretended not to see it. That was why her manager, Mr. Hargrove, had a problem with her. He liked workers who moved fast, stayed quiet, and never let their hearts interfere with business. Sofia was good at her job, but she was too human for his taste. He had warned her before. Once for helping an elderly guest after her shift had ended. Once for speaking up when a rich customer insulted a housekeeper. "Your job," he told her, "is to serve, not interfere." Sofia said nothing. But inside, she never believed him. At home, Daniel could always tell when work had been especially bad. "He shouted at you again?" he asked one evening as she put down a bag with too little food in it. Sofia gave a tired smile. "He's happiest when he's making someone feel small." Daniel shook his head. "One day you'll answer him." "No," Sofia said, "one day he'll fire me." She meant it as a joke. But it didn't feel like one. The truth was, the Grand Palace cared deeply about appearances. It loved polished shoes, expensive watches, and guests who looked like money before they even spoke. People who seemed poor, old, disabled, or out of place were treated differently. Never openly enough to be written in a report, just enough to be felt. Sofia saw it all the time. And every time she saw it, something in her tightened. Then came the charity event. The hotel was glowing that night. Fresh flowers, shining floors, music drifting from the ballroom, Rich guests floating through the lobby in clothes Sofia could never afford. Everything looked perfect. From a distance, Sofia had been working for hours when she saw the man outside in the rain, walking carefully toward the entrance with a white cane in his hand. She had never seen him before. He looked simple, quiet, alone. Then he slipped. Even in memory, it happened too fast. The cane hit the frame. His foot lost balance. His body crashed to the ground. By the time Sofia reacted, the guards were already there. Mocking him, questioning him, looking down at him like he was a problem, not a person. Then Hargrove came out and made it worse. When he ordered security to throw the blind man out, Sofia stopped thinking and moved. By the time she reached the entrance, one guard was already grabbing the man's arm roughly. "Don't touch him like that," she said. The sharpness in her voice made the guard pause. Sofia picked up the cane first and placed it gently in the stranger's hand. Then she put one arm under his shoulder. Slowly, she whispered, "You're okay." The man turned his face toward her voice. His expression was tense from pain, but something in it softened. "Thank you," he said quietly. That should have been enough. It should have shamed the room. Instead, it angered Hargrove. "Sofia," he snapped, "what are you doing?" She did not look at him, helping him. "Go back to your station." He fell. "Security is handling it." Sofia rose to her feet, keeping one hand near the stranger in case he lost balance. "No," she said, "they're humiliating him." The crowd shifted. Some looked embarrassed now, most still said nothing. Hargrove stepped closer, his voice turned colder. "You left your work to create a scene." That was the part that revealed him. Not a man worried about order. A man offended that a waitress had dared to choose decency over obedience. Sofia felt fear rising in her chest. She knew what this could cost, but now that she was standing there, with that blind stranger beside her and a whole lobby hiding behind silence, she could not go backward. "He asked to see the manager," she said. Hargrove laughed. "And now you want to play hero?" Sofia shook her head. "No, I just don't think a man should be left on the floor while people laugh." Nobody spoke. Nobody defended her. That silence was the ugliest thing in the room. Hargrove held out his hand. "You're finished here, give me your badge." For a moment, Sofia couldn't breathe. The words hit harder than she expected. Not because she had not seen it coming. Because her job was not just a job. It was Daniel's next meal. It was rent in 5 days. It was the power staying on. Beside her, the stranger spoke quietly. "This is because of me." Sofia swallowed and shook her head. "No," she said, staring at Hargrove. "This is because nobody here wanted to do the right thing." Her fingers trembled as she pulled off her name tag and placed it in the manager's palm. No one stopped him. No one said a word. She walked to the back room, got her bag, and left through the same lobby where everyone had watched a blind man be mocked on the floor. Outside, the rain had grown lighter, but the cold felt worse. She made it to the bus stop before the tears came. Not loud tears. Not dramatic ones. The quiet kind that come when fear and humiliation and exhaustion all hit at once. At home, Daniel opened the door and knew immediately. What happened? Sofia sat down and told him everything. The fall, the guards, the manager, the firing. When she finished, Daniel sat beside her in silence for a long moment. Then he said, "You still did the right thing." Sofia stared at the floor. "The right thing doesn't pay rent." "No," he said softly, "but it lets you live with yourself." She wanted those words to comfort her. But that night, comfort did not come. Sleep didn't either. Part of her kept replaying the scene in her mind. Another part kept thinking about the stranger. Why had he come there asking for the manager? Why had he sounded so calm, even on the ground? And why, even while he was being humiliated, had he seemed more disappointed than surprised? The next morning, Sofia was still sitting in silence when her phone rang. She almost ignored it. But when she answered, the voice on the line was cold and formal. "Miss Sofia Cruz, you are required to report to the hotel immediately for a serious matter." Her grip tightened on the phone. "I was fired last night." "Just come," the voice said, and the line went dead. Daniel looked at her. "What do they want now?" Sofia shook her head. "I don't know." She did not want to go back. But something in that call felt different. So she got dressed and returned to the Grand Palace with a heavy heart. And if you're still with us, make sure you subscribe now if you haven't yet. The moment she entered, she knew something had changed. The lobby was too quiet. Staff stood stiffly. People kept looking at her. A supervisor rushed over and said, "Miss Cruz, this way, please." She followed him to the conference room. When the door opened, Sofia stopped. Mr. Hargrove was inside. But this time he was not angry. He was pale, silent, afraid. Two senior executives stood beside him. And near the window stood the blind man. The same man from the night before. The regional director turned to Sofia and said, "Miss Sofia Cruz, this is Mr. Adrian Vale." Sofia froze. Vale, the owner of the hotel. The owner of the whole company. The billionaire CEO. Her breath caught. The director continued, "Mr. Vale has been making private visits after complaints about how staff and guests are treated. Last night, he saw everything himself." Sofia slowly turned toward Hargrove. He could not even look at her. "Mr. Hargrove has been dismissed," the director said. "The security guards involved have also been removed." The room went quiet. Then Adrian spoke. His voice was calm, but it carried weight. "Last night, everyone in that lobby saw a blind man on the floor," he said, "but you were the only one who saw a human being." Sofia said nothing. She could not. Adrian took one small step forward. "I can give you your job back," he said, "with better pay and a full apology." Sofia looked at him. "But that is not why I asked you to come." The room fell even quieter. Then Adrian asked the question that changed everything. "So tell me, Sofia, if I ask you to come back here, not just to work, but to help me change this place so no one is ever treated that way again, will you stand beside me?" Sofia felt tears sting her eyes, but she held herself still. And suddenly, the room no longer felt like a place of humiliation. It felt like a doorway. Because this was no longer about getting her old job back. It was about trust. About dignity. About being seen. And about the strange, quiet beginning of something that neither of them had expected the night before, when she knelt beside a blind stranger on a cold hotel floor. And just like that, the hotel where she lost everything became the place where her life was about to change. The lesson is simple. The real test of character is how you treat people when they seem powerless. And sometimes the one act of kindness that seems to cost you everything is the very thing that opens the future meant for you. So now tell us in the comments, if you were Sofia, would you have gone back to that hotel after what they did to you? Like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories.